So, hello. Welcome to the EiEi Podcast. I think we are on episode 4 now.
That's the one, yeah.
That's cool. I am Jeff Compass. I'm joined by...
Hello, I'm Jonii. I spell my name weird, and I say that every episode, so you know.
I'm GregCubed. I don't spell my name weird like Jonii, so I got that above him, you know.
I'm Ninja, and my name is just weird, so I don't know.
Yeah, so today we are talking about minigames, kind of a topic that definitely we needed to strike at some point. It's not like the most immediate thing when you think about Monkey Ball, but it's really a huge part of the games. And I honestly think a lot of the people who play this game casually, this was more of the appeal for them. Like, I remember as a kid, a lot of the time I'd play I brought Monkey Ball over to people's houses and they just wanted to play the minigames. So I think minigames are definitely a little bit underspoken. I think they really were half of the game, honestly. I mean, the main game, of course, is very in-depth, but minigames really had a lot to them. And I know a lot of people, like when they think of Monkey Ball, this is one of the first things they think of.
I do know that it's even to the point where if you look at the back of the boxes for 1 and 2, like that's one of the biggest selling points. So I think you're absolutely right. In the franchise's peak, it was known a lot as a party game, and the minigames are a big reason why that is.
That was like my biggest pet peeve was just having like people come over and then they'd be like, I want to play the mini games. I'd be like, no, please let us play story mode.
Yeah, I used to feel that way a lot too.
I'm cool with people playing the mini games, but it's just what I've noticed is nobody ever wants to play anything other than Target.
It's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, that's true. I actually do remember that a little bit. That was definitely the game everyone wanted to play.
Monkey baseball, and they're like,
one of the only games I remember playing was like Monkey Dogfight. That was like once.
Ooh, yeah.
I kind of remember
back
that.
in the day I played that. Pretty good.
I logged a lot of hours into Monkey Race, to be honest.
Monkey Race is definitely up there for most played.
I guess we should go in order. We're just starting there.
So we're specifically going to focus on Monkey Race, Monkey Fight, Monkey Target, since they've had the most representation over the series. And if we went over like every single minigame, we'd be here for like ever. So
we can just briefly like mention some things. We don't have to. It's hard to talk about every minigame, so we'll focus on those 3, and then we can briefly, if you guys want, talk about some of the other ones, because I think there are still things to say about them.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise we can always talk about them in a future episode.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
The Monkey Wars episode that only I care about.
Monkey Golf episode.
Oh my god, that would get heated.
So, yeah,
Maybe.
Monkey Ball started, it had a race, fight, and target, which I think these 3 are just classic, like just classic mini games. Like, I gotta be honest, Race and Monkey Ball 1, and 2 for that matter, even as a kid, I enjoyed it, but I always did feel like the CPUs were pretty difficult. Like, I definitely could get the sense that there was a pretty high level of rubber band AI in there, but of course, it was still classic. I love these mini games. Yeah.
Don't you mean
we're
rubber
starting
band
off with
AA?
Race. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, we're kicking Greg off the podcast now. Just kidding.
Greg, what have you done?
That was my take on Race, at least. I still loved it. I still had a lot of fun. I just felt like... I never felt like the CPUs were that good. But what I like about these 3 minigames personally is that they all used, the Monkey Ball physics. It wasn't like later entries like Banana Blitz that kind of got away from that concept where it's just more like random minigames. But I love how these 3, it really is like around the idea that you're in a ball. So yeah, these games are very classic. What do you guys have to say?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said about they're kind of based in that. They keep it simplistic while still relating it to the concept of the game, and they're original with that, and I like that about them a lot. Honestly, if we're talking about Monkey Race, that's probably my least favorite of the 3, and I think that's
agree.
Partially because of the AI, which is pretty brutal, but also because I'm bad at it. I find that I tend to fall off the stage a lot. So I think of the 3, that one personally, at least in 1 and 2, I actually have to say, Well, I don't know. Do we want to stick to the original incarnations first and then go on?
Oh, for sure.
I think my biggest problem with Monkey Race was that the turning is like really awkward.
Yes, definitely.
For
I
sure.
think it's like these really sharp turns, and really like your only option is just slow down then turn instead of like doing like a smooth kind of turn into the corner.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's just too fast. Like I remember as a kid, I remember not having a problem with it for some reason. But I tried playing it like a few months ago. And I was like, this is impossible, and I'm on easy mode.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just like
it's
bad
just
at it.
brutal. I think there's a little bit of and I could be wrong about this, but I think there's a little bit of an adjustment to be made because the way that it looks, it's like, oh, it's Monkey Race, but it just uses the physics from the main game, but it doesn't because you move the monkey, not the stage. So I think that throws me off a little bit. Because I'm expecting it to control more like the main game subconsciously, and so I'm kind of screwing myself up.
I think another issue I had with the race was I don't know if this was just me. This could have been a me thing, but I also didn't really think much of the items. I thought they were either not the most clear on what they do, or they weren't exactly of ease to use. I could be alone on that. I don't know if I actually haven't spoken to if anyone has the same opinion as me on that, but I didn't. I think I mean, obviously, this isn't a racing game, but I think Mario Kart did, which was a racing game. I think it did a lot better. Not fair to compare.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they're going to put items in a racing, that's my point of comparison. Like I think Mario Kart.
I do have to say there's one item in particular that I'm not sure if it's in the first game, but I know for a fact it's in 2, where it kind of stunts your control, and the way that you stop it from doing that is you have to rotate the control stick. And the problem with that is that's what you use to move, and one wrong movement in Monkey Race means that you fly off the course.
Right.
So I think that was handled very poorly, because once you recover from that item, which is already a punishment, you just get punished again.
Is it the bomb?
Yeah.
I think that's a Monkey one.
It might be the bomb. I'm having a little trouble remembering, but I'm pretty sure.
So I feel like every power-up just screwed you over in that Monkey Race.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Even there's like a speed boost, and it's not like Mario Kart where it's like, oh yeah, because if you get a speed boost in Monkey Race, then it's just harder to control.
Yeah.
The speed boost in Monkey Race basically means that you're going to lose, at least for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Basically, there has to be a straight line that wouldn't fall off.
Oh, 100%.
That's my biggest problem with the item system in general, is that you really have to be right behind them, otherwise you're not gonna hit the item whatsoever, which is kind of hard when the course is turning so much.
What would win? A monkey going Mach speed, or one small right turn? And the answer is
I think we all know
always
the
small
answer.
right turn. Yes.
Unless there's a sign in front of it.
With race,
Then there's
in
a
one
chance.
with race in 1 and 2, what did you guys think of them using the same backgrounds and assets as the main game? Does that ever bother you, or do you think that I don't really know if I have an opinion, but I'm curious what you guys think. Did you like that they were from the main game, or did you think it was they could have maybe tried to do something a little more original? I'm kind of curious, because I actually don't know what people think of that.
I didn't really mind it, considering it was a budget GameCube title. I didn't really I wasn't like wow, that's weird. I was like, I guess that makes sense, because the different backgrounds kind of represent the difficulty of the track. You gotta do progress.
I never even
it goes
never even
deeper
thought
and
of it as
expert.
budget.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of in that wheelhouse, because I think it would have been cool to see some more original backgrounds, but it's also never something that really bothered me. Maybe that's because I don't play Monkey Race a lot, but it also doesn't seem jarring or lazy.
Very indifferent.
Yeah, exactly.
Never thought of it as budgeted or lazy. I always liked how it connected back to the main game like that, especially with the way it connected to difficulty, honestly.
That's pretty true. I do think it's clever to use the same backgrounds in some regard, because then if you're already familiar with the main game, you're like, oh yeah.
I gotta say, though, I think Target is, at least in 1 and 2, is just exceptional in my opinion. It's a very simple concept and it's a very simple game, but at the same time, really does have like a lot of depth to it. I mean, they had to go and add. Yeah, that's pretty much an entirely different game. I mean, the physics they had to add to it, like with wind and just the mechanic of opening. It sometimes did feel jank, and if you didn't know how to do it, it was kind of weird. But the power-ups you could collect in midair, like I always thought this mini game was brilliant. Honestly, at least in the classic iterations, this was the game like I remember coming back to just all the time personally.
See, it's funny because I played Tug at the least out of all of them.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's weird because and I think I mentioned this before we started. I have some friends who will occasionally play Monkey Ball with me, and they only ever want to play Monkey Target.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on some level it's a little irritating because I love all the other modes, but I get it because Target, like you said, it's really simple to get the hang of, but it has a lot of depth to it with the mechanics. There's a lot
Absolutely.
of strategy, and a lot of the mini games from 1 to 2, it's kind of a straight like upgrade. It's like, yeah, well, 2's just got the better mini games. But in the case of Target, I think I like both for different reasons.
And that
because
sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. But yeah, one, you're taking turns, and it seems a little bit more. Well, the item system is different. It's a little bit more difficult. The targets are placed differently. And two goes for a split screen approach. You collect the items in midair instead of having to go through like a tier system with them. And I have trouble. I think I lean slightly towards enjoying Monkey Ball 1's iteration more, although both of them, like, I could just pick up and play pretty much any day of the week. And yeah, I think there's so many, because it seems like such a simple mini game, but there's so many small nuances about it that you don't really appreciate until you play some of the later games and realize how they've messed it up.
And that's one thing that you were speaking on about 1 and 2. I gotta be real with you guys. I haven't played a lot of these in years now, maybe over a decade even. So it's, for me, 1 and 2 is just kind of blend in my mind. Like I gotta be honest, I really don't know the difference. Probably not the most professional thing to admit on a podcast, but 1 and 2s are very similar from what I remember.
I was gonna say, other than Target, they're like really, really close.
Yeah.
Can somebody explain to me how losing altitude works in Monkey Target? Because I still don't understand to this day. Like, I get to round 2 every time, and then I'll just start, like, falling. I'm like, stop it.
Okay, so what you want to do is, with Monkey Target, if you go up, you'll lose altitude, but if you go down, you'll actually gain altitude. So,
weird, but I
you
get
kind of
it.
have to, yeah, you kind of have to find a balance. My main issue is that I always try to get like a good launch off the ramp at the beginning, but if you do that, it's easy to start off too fast, and then you have to like deliberately lose altitude.
That's another thing I gotta be honest about is that while I love this game, even as a kid and anytime I've played it since, I am absolutely terrible at it.
Oh my god, same.
Like as a kid even, I loved playing this and I lost every single time. This is just not something I'm good at.
I've definitely gotten better over the years, but I think the main reason I have is because I was also like really confused about the mechanics, but there was one point, a friend of mine who I'd recently introduced to Monkey Ball, like came over to my house and I was like, hey, I have to go to work. Working kind of a short shift today, so I'll be back in a few hours. And in those few hours I was gone at work, this dude who had only just played Monkey Target for the first time had mastered it, and he had to explain to me how it worked.
That's exactly how it is with my younger brothers. They always beat me at it, and they still do to this day, and I'm just like complete ass. It sucks.
My problem is that my brain wants to fly like in Mario 64, where you like press up and down to like gain speed, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do like.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think one thing I really like about it is that you have to like think about like when you'll land. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna land at the end, because you'll fall off. You have to like use trigonometry and actually figure out how far you'll go.
Right. There's a lot of, and that makes it harder if you're. That's another sort of layer of depth. Is a lot of the time, like I said, I'm trying to lose speed, which means I'm going up, and the further up you are, the harder it is to actually line that up right, and that has caused me many a death. But yeah, Target is really classic stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Monkey Ball 1 have the brake stuff, like the magnet.
Yeah, I think it did.
I think it had
that.
something similar because Monkey Ball 1 is weird because the items are in like a tier system. So if you get a banana, you can use one item, but if you get another banana, you can use the next highest item. And I think they don't use the magnet symbol for it, but I think there's an item that has the same effect.
Because I know it has like the multiplier stories.
Yeah, it has the multipliers, and I think it has the magnet and then one other physics changing item, but I don't specifically remember what each of them do.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should move on to Monkey Fight, the one that I feel like we all kind of played like twice.
Oh my god!
I gotta be real. This
so
one,
true.
this one is like dumb fun in my opinion. Like, there's not a lot of depth to it. It's like you just it's just like a party game. You can everyone can just play and just button mash kind of. It's dumb fun, but I don't really view it as like anything with real depth personally.
You just turn your brain off, get the twirling hand ability, and you win.
It's definitely a button masher. I don't know how it works. Like whenever I play it, I literally just
I don't think I know either.
go for it. I go bananas, no pun intended.
Oh my god! Would you say that you go banana crazy?
Yes. Just kidding. That game doesn't exist.
Damn. Rest in peace.
Let me just put that downer on all of us.
That as a podcast episode, honestly, if we're like out of ideas.
Just talk about like,
The
guys,
history.
wouldn't it have been cool if they had LAN? But yeah, as far as Monkey Fight goes, I think I bring this up in my review of the first Monkey Ball game, which you can get on YouTube.com. But I bring up the fact that like going into Monkey Fight, like it's super chaotic. The controls are really kind of loosing and imprecise, and that somehow makes it more fun because it's just like Monkey Target, there's a lot of strategy to it, and Monkey Race even you have to think about, but Monkey Target, like Jeff said, is complete dumb fun, and I really enjoy how chaotic it is.
It's definitely fun just for like just seeing how crazy you can get. Like I like how if you get like the big fist power up, you could just keep getting it and just keep getting a bigger fist over time.
Stacking the power-ups is one of the funnest things about the game, because that's what I always try to do, is just stack as many like big fists and then long arms as I can, so that I can just get like the most ludicrous thing in the universe. And it's
Giant Fist is like the most satisfying thing about that whole mini game.
It really is. And then in Monkey Ball 2, they add like they add the charge. So if you hold B, you can charge the fist, and it's just even more ridiculous. I have to say, I always really loved the level in Monkey Ball 2 where you can you're kind of surrounded by these walls, but knock them down. And that's what I would always do, is I would just immediately go up the wall and knock it down as quickly as possible, because there are items over there.
Monkey Ball 2 definitely has much better Monkey Fight levels than Monkey 1 did.
Hard agree on that.
The Monkey 1 just kind of had like a square, like Monkey 1 just had like a square with two walls, like that ice area of like a couple walls, and then like the UFO. But Monkey Ball 2 has like the flower and stuff.
Monkey Ball 2 is a lot more creative. And Monkey Ball 2 is also they're less similar to the actual level themes of Monkey Ball 2, which is
I do remember that actually.
Monkey Race. They're really unique looking. Like there's nothing else in the game that has the aesthetics of the second two, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I suppose, unless if anyone else have any closing statements to make on the original iteration before we move on.
No, I mean they were fun games, and they're definitely
And
a big
Sega ruined
part
it.
of the game. Yeah.
Okay, so the first
Everything.
So the first use of the minigames past that point was the Monkey Ball 2 Flash game.
Oh, I forgot
really?
about the Flash game.
I didn't even know.
If you're aware of that.
Holy shit.
So I don't know if anyone posted footage of it, but I'll post some right now real quick. As Jonii,
please.
recount your basic experiences with them as I get this.
I'm sorry I
Jeff,
didn't.
is there any
include
Scratch
those in the
mini
post.
games you want to talk about, Jeff? By any chance?
Not that I remember. Not that I didn't block out of my mind already.
That's a shame. That's the
I'm
twist. Is
surprised.
all those scratch games were officially sanctioned. We just didn't realize it.
It's a guerrilla marketing tactic.
Some of
Exactly.
the Scratch games are actually better.
No
than,
pun
like,
intended.
Some of the Monkey Ball games that actually got released. We're being honest. We're being
Depressing, but honestly
completely
probably
honest.
true.
That's depressing.
I'd rather
Uh,
play some of those than BB.
That's fair. I mean, at least you don't have to use motion control.
Okay, so I posted the footage in the thing, and I'll just talk about Monkey Target because that one is definitely the more interesting of the two featured. I think Monkey Target might be the only one though. Monkey Target's the
Well,
only
yeah, I
one.
was gonna say is our
I
race.
was thinking about Top Fight was in there for a second, but Monkey Target is very interesting.
It's something else. So yeah, because
So-
I think
so-
I was gonna ask who's played it here, and I think it might just be us.
Might just be me
I
and
didn't
you.
even know it was a thing until you guys brought it up now.
So the game
Me neither.
begins with like an FMV of like monkey rolling, like I rolling down the slide and getting up. And then you have to press like I think the space bar to open up the wings, which is just like a PNG of I of the wings open. And literally all you do is press the left and right to click bananas and stars, and then press space bar near the end to land, and that's it.
Yeah,
It
can't
looks
even-
fine. I mean,
Dang.
it looks
You can't
very
even-
shallow.
You can't
It
even
looks
gain or
shallow.
lose altitude. Like I have always like these radar and like meters and stuff. They don't do anything. They just
there is no
visual.
up and down.
You know what? For a Flash game, it looks shallow, but graphically it looks fine, and I think it's fine. I don't really think it's worth complaining about.
Yeah, I
know.
mean, I don't have a significant issue with it. Like, I'm not like Sega. How could you do this? But also,
Plus, I'd
like, I
imagine
think-
less than like 30 people have played it. So.
It doesn't
Well, that's
matter.
true. They didn't sell it to people. I just
It
think
does-
it's funny.
It doesn't matter much as far as like the history, but I just found it to be an interesting tidbit to bring up.
I was so ready for you to just be like, the next use of the mini games was Junior, and then you said the
Super
Monkey
Monkey
Ball
Ball.
2 Flash game, and I was like, oh my god.
Just had a flashback. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god. When are we getting the EiEi?
I don't know. So next would be Junior after that. After
I didn't
that.
even know Junior had minigames.
Junior,
So
Oh,
Junior-
it has mini games.
So Junior indeed has only Monkey Fight as far as being relevant to here, I believe. Yeah, only has Monkey Fight. And it's pretty standard. It's just like a top-down, you move around, you punch. Like, it's pretty much exactly like the GameCube game, just on a Game Boy cartridge. It's nothing new.
Yeah, I honestly have to praise Junior's version of Monkey Fight because it's a really accurate recreation of the first game's Monkey Fight, and I think it works really well on the Game Boy Advance. Like, obviously the D-pad's not as good as an analog's, but
It's
for
good
what
enough
it is,
for
it's very good.
I think the only thing you really can't do is stack the big fist, but that's kind of about
Wait, can you not stack the big fist?
I don't believe you can stack the big fist in Junior.
You're
That's-
at it.
Johnny, it's a miracle they got Monkey Ball running on a Game Boy All. You think they had?
Sorry.
They think they just put the big fist in like that? No.
Greg. If they can put in the lens flare, they can put in the big fist.
Okay, that's true.
That's the best
I
part
mean,
of Junior.
my opinion about Junior as a whole is, I'm sure this applies to the minigame. It's fine. It's a Game Boy game. Be nice to it. It's not worth playing nowadays, in my opinion. But
Got
I'm
like a
sure
gold star with
the
bacon.
minigame was just fine and it was good for the time. So I don't. That's my general opinion on Junior. So I'm gonna extend that to the minigames, although I haven't played it.
The minigames are honestly actually really well done for Junior in particular.
I think the mini games are like better done than the main game. Like the
I mean,
mini games are all really good.
I was really surprised how good they actually were. I was surprised they had them at all. Because going in, I thought it was just going to be the main game. I saw mini games. I was like, what the fuck? There's no way.
And they
Mhm.
managed it pretty well. Like those are really, really faithful recreations because they had, I believe, golf and bowling as well.
Yeah.
And they were almost
Surprised.
dead on ports.
The fact that they went out of their way to make golf and not only that, but have two different like rounds of holes was actually really crazy.
That's true. They didn't really skimp out on it at all, which is cool.
Now next is a port that probably should have just been the main game. Engage. Everybody's favorite.
I have nothing to say. I don't know.
So Monkey Ball
I
Engage
don't.
has all
Monkey
three
Target.
minigames. So believe it or not, Monkey
Really?
Ball Engage is all three games we're talking about. Monkey Fight, Monkey Race, and Monkey Target.
How are they?
So Monkey Fight is actually fine. It's just like the Game Boy games are laggy, from what I remember. I don't think there's anything particularly like noteworthy about it. It's just juniors on the Engage. Then there's Monkey Race, which I don't know. Did you post the footage of it? Any chance? So I might have to get that off.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did not find any footage of Monkey Race.
So if you remember how awkward Monkey Race was on the GameCube, it's about as awkward on the N-Gage. Like the turning is very weird. It's very bizarre. Like, and the only stage you have is like an oval, like, you know, your typical like NASCAR looking racetrack kind of oval, with like a couple boost pads. And I think the only items you can get is the speed up and the bomb, if I remember correctly.
Oh, so they slimmed it down.
Yeah, it's very shallow. Like, there's not much. There's even less strategy than there was in the original. It's just like the turn's like kind of wide. Like, it's just how good can you turn around like an oval, and that's it. Like, there's not much there. It's pretty basic. The only real noteworthy thing I can think about is I did a speedrun of it, honestly. Everything else was kind of just...
Nobody else thought to.
Yeah, I'm the only one to do it, so sorry. So, me, I guess.
So you're the world record holder, by default.
Uh-huh. So, yeah. Monkey Target.
I was gonna say, what do you think of Monkey Target, Ninja?
So, Jonii, how do you think Monkey Target is, based on what you witnessed from the footage?
I was gonna say, given what I've seen, it looks like the N-Gage runs Monkey Target in like the barest possible definition of the word runs that can be mustered. It doesn't look functional. It looks like a tech demo.
I think if anything's impressive from this entire list of minigames is that the Flash game had better Monkey Target than N-Gage did. So yeah, so it's like it. You know, you roll down the ramp, you jump off, whatever. That's fine. It's typical N-Gage jank, but like the flying in the air, I don't specifically remember, but I think it's controlled like fine in the air, like. But like, there's no water, so it's just like a grass background, just a bunch of floating targets, and they're all like squares. And the biggest problem with the N-Gage one is that like, there's like when you land on the target, like you roll for a long time, like you don't break very fast, so it's extremely easy to just roll completely off the target. I actually think it's impossible to land in the middle of the target, like to get like the highest score possible. I think you basically can only get like 10 living on like the edge. Like I really doubt that you can actually like get a perfect score in N-Gage unless you like somehow master it, which I'm not entirely sure that's possible.
Man.
It's kind of a disaster.
I was gonna say that's what I remember from when you talked about it. Was just you're like, yeah, it's just like I think you said you'd never manage to land on the target and stay there. I was like, how? It's so. How do you screw that up in Monkey Target? That's the point of the game.
Sense, but it's not easy. It's harder than you think it would be.
Okay, so it's possible, but it's not.
It is possible. It's just like, yeah, it's not. It's no. Considering that entire port in general was probably just a mistake, it's not that surprising to me that Monkey Target in particular is awful.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That might have something to the fact that it's difficult to port might have something to do with the fact that most handheld iterations of Monkey Ball do not include it.
N-Gage is admirable for its ambition, but I can't say it was well done. Like, I can appreciate them for trying, but like that's about all I can give them. So that, like, cool, we had Race and Target, but like you probably shouldn't have. So next game, I believe, should be Touch and Roll, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think Adventure.
Touch and Roll.
I mean,
those are same year.
Well, we should do Touch and Roll just because it's the same issue itself, like it's before the whole.
Another game I don't have a ton to say about. I mean, I never played it. I'm sure it looked. I mean, from what I've seen, it looks fine. But
Monkey Fight is pretty typical. It's like Junior, which is kind of top down, except instead of like the D-pad and the A button, use the touch screen and the L button.
Yeah, which works better than you would think it would. Like, I thought it was gonna feel pretty bad, but it's a perfectly functional control scheme.
It's about as
functional. Pretty good.
It's about as functional as a touch screen is.
Yeah.
Touch screen's good. So
I mean,
and
it's fine.
Monkey Race is more of the same, and both of them are pretty serviceable for what they are. I think they're pretty accurate recreations. They're not exactly pushing the envelope.
There's not too much you can get. Like you can't really like be like, oh, that was a great monkey fight port, but you also can't like. It's kind of hard to mess it up.
That's true. I think it would be more impressive if they somehow managed to make a bad monkey fight port.
Yeah, like even the Engage version was fine. Besides only having like one stage.
Right.
If knowing Sega, they were probably one game away from them doing that. Honestly.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I don't like stylus controls, but I don't like stylus controls, but I couldn't imagine doing it with the D-pad. I think that would have been worse, like a Mario 64 DS type moment. So I'm fine with it here.
I mean,
I like the touch and roll version better than the junior version. Although even with a D-pad, it's like
it's fine. Like it's not like Mario 64 where it's like kind of jank. Like, you don't need to worry about different speeds. Really, it's just kind of.
No, I mean,
yeah.
I guess I'm fine with it.
It's obviously not as good, but
it's serviceable.
Yeah, it works.
Monkey Race was actually pretty good, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I remember liking it, maybe even a tad more than the original.
Yeah, you just use the stylus to control like normally. I think it controlled better than the original. I don't remember. It at least controlled on par at the very least.
Yeah, it was very, very functional.
You could very much run off the stage if you go too fast. So you still had that element to worry about. I remember the stages were like, it was like a typical, like, I think it was a typical like 8, like just kind of like another like oval. I might be wrong on that, but I remember there was a banana one and like an eyes head one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, I remember those being good.
So
Super
Monkey Ball Adventure.
The best game ever made.
Forbidden game.
Best minigame.
I don't even know if I played. I must have played the minigames at some point. I must.
One I can definitely speak on because it's strange.
If I will say one thing about Adventure is that I actually like Monkey Race in it. Honestly.
Monkey Race is. I was playing Monkey Race in Adventure before we started recording this, and that might honestly be my favorite version of Monkey Race because it feels like 1 and 2, except the tracks are actually designed for the physics.
They definitely took a bit more of a unique approach. Like they changed the camera for it and everything. Like it controls different than the actual game. Like they definitely like went all out for Monkey Race specifically.
You know what? I'm looking at some footage right now. I remember playing this minigame more than anything. I didn't remember liking it, but Monkey Cannon, it reminds me of a game that came out like 2 years later called Boom Blocks on Wii.
Yeah, I messed with Monkey Cannon for a minute, and I was like,
that's like the only one I remember for some reason. Like I remember playing this game, and I couldn't remember if it was like, did I play Boom Blocks or did I play Monkey Ball Adventure? Like it's weird, but same. I can see where they're coming from since they just had to reuse the asset from the main game of the cannon, which is a little bit, but I mean, I that's like really the only minigame. I don't think I actually played the main 3 minigames in this, honestly. I'm trying to look at footage to see if I did.
I'm looking at footage of Monkey Target right now, and holy hell, this looks bootlegged as fuck.
Dude, okay, I want to say my piece about Race first, but I really do have to talk about Target. Race.
Hold off, Jonii. No.
The one thing I want to bring up with Race still is because we've talked about physics are different, the course design is different. Something that you can do in Monkey Ball Adventure's version of Monkey Race that I think you technically can do in Monkey Ball 1 and 2, but it's improbable. You can fly off the side and go onto onto a further part of the course, and the game will actually recognize that you've done that and like say big air, like you did something good. And
unless the game doesn't want you to do that, in which case it will put you back where you're supposed to.
I gotta be real. I'm looking at the race footage right now. It doesn't look too bad. Issues with landing. I mean, it looks bad. I mean, the whole game, Monkey Ball Adventure, looks less than average, I'd say. Yeah. But I mean, in terms of like racing, you know, I actually remember this because I actually am remembering this exact like city level I'm looking at. I think it's fine. I vaguely remember playing this, and I remember actually maybe having more fun with this than some of the other courses in 1 and 2.
I think it's visually, like as far as like the dynamic camera angles, I think it's actually really like good looking in that aspect.
I think it looks as good as Monkey Ball Adventure can look. I do definitely think it has a lot of effort put into the visuals, which I admire. Totally random point. Monkey Ball Adventure is weird because in the party games they just let you play as like a million other characters.
Playing as Grandpa in Monkey Race is a feature that'll never be doubted in my mind.
That's why it's the definitive version of Monkey Race, is because you can play as the best Monkey Ball character.
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
I think my problem with these mini games from what I'm looking at is, if you look at Monkey Ball 1 and 2, I mean, Monkey Ball 1 and 2 they looked at what they had with the physics engine, and they built the mini games around that. And Adventure kind of tried to do the same thing. Like, I'm looking at Target, which is similar to like one part in the game on Monkey Island where you're flying to a different thing. I just feel like they took that concept a little too far. Like, they're using exact mechanics used in the story mode and didn't really do a good job at it. Well, I feel like 1 and 2 took the physics and the ideas, but altered them in a way that still was fun. I think here they took it a little too literal, in my opinion. And it's just literally the exact same physics and usages in the actual game. Probably the same cost.
I think the reason why Race is good is because it controls differently from the main game, honestly.
That's the big key. Although I do think that is something that I definitely noticed with Adventures party games compared to the original games. Adventures feel a lot more slapdash, like they're just throwing together whatever resources they have.
Right. I feel.
Speaking of,
case in point with that is just Monkey Fight. Is like copy pasted, but they added new levels and changed the camera a little bit.
I feel like by ripping stuff from like the game's main mechanics, it really gets away from like the simplicity, which was like kind of like that's kind of why the minigames worked so well in the first two, is because they're like very simple, like the actual game was very arcade-like. Here it just seems like they're just throwing shit at a wall. I don't know. It looks.
I kind of agree with that, Greg. Actually, yeah. I mean, I will say this minigame I'm looking at, Monkey Ball Bounce. Ironic, right?
That's a fun game.
There's an actual minigame later.
I like a little bit.
No, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the crap mobile game. I'm talking about.
You're trolling me for a second.
There's a minigame in Adventure called Bounce, and it looks kind of fun, honestly. Like it looks very simple, but so they had some in like that with like the I don't remember what it's called, the knocking over towers. I mean, I think they tried to be a little creative, so I can respect that, but I overall agree with what Greg said.
Although the canon one is very much like a non-minigame.
I don't know.
It's like zero strategy.
At least they tried, is my point. At least they were trying to do something, even though it didn't really work.
Yeah.
Speaking of trying, what they didn't try on was Monkey Target.
Oh, Monkey Target is like... Monkey Target's horrendous because...
Monkey Target's offensive. I feel offended by it.
Yeah. And the two big things in it for me, and I'm playing the GameCube version. I can't imagine the PS2 or PSP versions are any better in this regard. Number one, in Monkey Ball 1 and 2, between every target, it's a very seamless transition. You get your score and then you're back to the top of the ramp. Monkey Ball Adventure has to load in between every single target. It's awful. And that's another thing with party games in general. The load times are abysmal. But also, once you actually get to the top of the ramp, the way the targets are designed, they're not circles, they're not pyramids, they're not creatively designed at all. It's just a solid, straight rectangle every time. And it's so boring. I don't know.
The programmers had 20 minutes to program Monkey Target. You can't blame them.
I mean, honestly, they probably did. They were like
programming it, and they're told it was going to ship that morning. Is probably what happened.
Exactly. It's like, what are we using to make this? It's like you have a team of 2, and your budget is a potato chip and a piece of string.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it looks awful. The physics are fine. Like, it feels enough like Monkey Target, more so than some other later games. It's just so poorly designed and optimized, and it just makes you wish you were playing the first 2 games.
random, but I absolutely hate his running animation in the game, and
It's
it's
so
very
bad.
in Monkey Target. Like, oh my god, I can't deal with it.
I actually don't mind the running animation that much. Although it's
remember-
definitely bizarre.
I don't like it on most of the characters, but I hate it on Baby.
Oh,
God,
yeah,
I haven't
played
seen Baby. That scares me.
Baby literally just runs full speed ahead, just like EiEi does.
Yup.
But yeah, it definitely looks. It's strange because, especially in Monkey Target, where it feels like the first two games enough, it looks really off because that's not how the characters usually carry themselves. And when you're controlling them like they should be controlling, it just feels wrong.
Something I don't get with adventures, like they plug in all these like moving animations for what the minigame characters or whatever, but like how come you can't use them in challenge mode?
Actually, yeah, that's kind of a bizarre restriction because they have all the assets they need.
Even programmed the animations for like race, so like they have them.
You know what's even odder about that? I just kind of realized is that this game was made by Traveler's Tales, right? Which they made some of the Lego games and all. And a big feature in that game is like you can use like any a million different characters. So it's almost like they kind of started with that idea, but maybe due to the development time, they just never, fully used. I mean, there's a lot of things in that game that signify its rush. So I feel like maybe that was like a plan. Like they planned for it to be similar to Lego games, where you can just like choose a bunch of like irrelevant characters or whatever. Or
Maybe.
irrelevant
Well, they
characters.
did.
That's just
They
me
did take stuff.
guessing.
They did take stuff from other games that they worked on too. Like I've said before, the ball physics in that game is ripped straight from Crash Bandicoot Twin Sanity, which is just it still boggles my mind.
Yeah.
Instead, they just like, yeah, well, it's fine. We'll use this. No one will notice anything different at all.
Yeah, it's a really bizarre game, and I definitely think it just reeks of like they're like, okay, so we ship in 6 months, and Sega's just like tomorrow.
Sega's like, okay, wait. Sega's like hand them an idea and they're like, how do we do this?
Exactly.
One thing I can praise Adventure for is being one of the only PS2 games that actually utilize the cross-save function that Sony added. So I'll give them that.
One
I think
thing
we
I can
should,
say before is that they didn't ruin the designs yet. They had another
Yeah.
year. They
Yeah, I
had one
agree
more
with that.
year.
Speaking
And a year later.
Although it's hard to say that they look good.
Don't look good, but they don't look like they do now, which is
They look
fine by me.
I think that's a good segue into Banana Blitz.
Everyone's favorite.
The
Super Monkey
minigames
Ball.
here are absolutely just completely terrible, and I have nothing good to say about them. I'll let you guys. I don't know. I hate all the minigames here. I think I've made that clear. I think I've talked about that enough over the past 5 years, considering I made my initial Banana Blitz review literally 5 years ago now.
Banana
I
Blitz
think I've said
definitely,
enough.
Banana Blitz
I gotta
definitely suffers
say, I
from
gotta-
a lot of mediocre minigames and like a decent amount of bad ones. Which kind of like, it leads a lot of minigames I actually think look good, just kind of like lost in the entire like cesspool.
The
That's
big
50
problem
plus
with
minigames.
Banana Blitz's minigames, in my opinion, is that they aren't built around the game like it is with 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Like there's
It's
a
kinda
lot
like,
a lot
we
of them
need
are
a
just
50
like
minigame.
off the wall, totally different. Like some of them are like in 2D and stuff like that. It's so weird.
Because, like, just talking about how much the minigames meant for Monkey Ball as well as casual players, so Sega was like, oh, let's just make 1 billion minigames, because that's what we like, right?
This was just a really, really poor move. Like, my God, I mean, these don't even feel like Mario Party level minigames. These are
They
like,
definitely went for quantity over quantity, for sure.
and it just
Go ahead.
very little worked in my opinion. I'm struggling to really say anything worked, to be honest. And the
And-
minigames they did bring back kind of sucked. So
I was gonna say it's very much that all the mini games are built around one gimmick, and it got to the point where, even the games that they brought back were kind of watered down based on this. And
I think the one minigame I can actually say I like was them bringing back Monkey War, but it's like it's
I don't
good. It's not like great though. Like it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. but
It's like
I just imagine
it's nice. It's nice that they brought it back from touch and roll. So just
imagine all of the developers just like sitting in a room, like 48 minigames in. It's like, fuck, what do we do now? It's like, just don't want to seesaw. Who cares? Who gives a shit anymore?
And I actually played all 50 of these minigames for my review back in the first season of Shovelware. I actually had to sit through literally all 50 of these because I was doing my review, I was doing my list. And it was,
if you play all 50,
that's like one of the worst gaming experiences I've ever had.
I have to say, you're probably one of the only people to have played all 50.
I played all 50.
Was Monkey Seesaw the one that was inspired by Tap and Tilt, or was that a different one? Because I know one of them from Banana Blitz HD Later was the one that was inspired by Tap and Tilt. Because it was like the same kind of game, like the moving the platforms. Can't remember which one it was, but it wasn't Banana Blitz HD Later. But that was like kind of a neat fact that they took it from that.
I have very little to say about it. This was Banana Blitz is bad for a lot of reasons, but these mini games just no.
So what about Monkey Race?
I don't even remember Monkey Race in this game, honestly, but I doubt I liked it.
I was looking at Monkey Race. It actually doesn't look that bad. I feel like, in fact, I think it looks better than it does in 2. But I mean, I haven't played it in like 10 years. I was just looking at it. I was like, oh, it looks okay.
I don't know how it controls a Banana Blitz, but based on what I've played from Steppenwolf, assuming that's a direct rip from Banana Blitz, this plays pretty alright. Like, it controls fine. If it's the same.
I gotta say, graphically, it looks really bad.
It's at least like a passable version of Race, then. It's not. It's not awful. Unlike Monkey Target.
They ruined Monkey Target.
Why did they shoot out of the worst?
Monkey Target is like one of the worst experiences in the entire franchise. It's like one of the lowest points in my opinion. Monkey Target and BB. It's
gotta be. Because not only did they water it down in so many ways, including the fact that you start out of a cannon, but the physics are wrong, and it's a physics-based game.
They also removed. I don't know if they removed the stars or not.
They did. It was very watered down.
They definitely removed the break up items.
It's as simplified as can be.
It looks like it's just a straight shot to like the goal with like nothing else. For like it's lasting like 10 seconds from like each round I'm looking at.
That's true, and there's no diverging paths. You just go, and there's one big target.
At least the menu remixed the song from Monkey Ball 2, I guess.
It's just reminding you of what you should be doing with your time.
The only song from Monkey Ball 2 they used.
That's so weird.
Guys, remember when we were good? Remember that, guys?
I think it's a huge like. It feels almost like a slap in the face that the only song from Monkey Ball 2 that they use is on the menu for their shitty version of Monkey Target.
You know, that's probably like the only real connection that this game even has to like the previous games. Like, yeah, obviously there's the same characters, there's new designs, and like pretty much everything's different. That's like one of the few. That might be the only instance of like going, like, you know, looking at the original games honestly, and like remembering, yeah, we were once this franchise. You know, like you could pass this off as like an entirely new franchise with a few tweaks. Honestly,
like the mechanics and characters are the same, but like there's very few direct callbacks to the first 2 games, and
even the mechanics are pretty different, like jump button, different level designs.
Actually, that's true. Yeah.
So you could pass this off as an entirely different series. Like if you just change some things around,
I find it almost funny that the game that was supposed to make it appeal more to casual gamers basically destroyed their franchise.
That's true.
That's exactly how these kind of things go. If you just like ditch the actual fans and try to appeal to like the main, like the non-fans, you just destroy everything. Like,
and the absolute
it always goes like that.
That's true. And the worst thing about that is that they were like, we need to make our franchise appeal more to casual players. And Monkey Ball 1 and 2 appealed strongly to casual players. There was no problem.
Exactly.
And like,
game broke, don't fix it.
I also think like,
what's that a jump on? That'll make it fun.
I think also I do want to say this is a little out of order, but we're talking about Banana Blitz. They didn't fix any of these minigames in Banana Blitz HD. In fact, I actually think they work worse because I feel like I hate motion controls, but I feel like they actually built these games around motion controls, and when they ported them to console, they didn't do a good job of adapting them to stick controls. Like the target minigame in BBHD is god awful. So I actually think the minigames in BBHD are worse than Banana Blitz. Like they don't play well at all because you could tell they were just built around the Wiimote. I don't know. That's my take. I thought the minigames in BBHD were, they should just cut them all. Like I don't know.
I think motion controls might be like oh, sorry. Okay, I think that motion control is like probably like a big reason why they had to dumb so many of these mini games down in Banana Blitz, because it's just there's so much less you can do with motion controls than you can with like an actual controller.
But I think that's completely the reason why.
It just reeks of 2006 Wii game.
It does.
2006 Wii game.
And yeah, no, Monkey Fight's just not here.
Yeah, the Monkey Fight just is gonna. Let's just say Monkey Boxing.
Oh God, Monkey Boxing.
That's like the easiest one to do too. So I don't know why they wouldn't just include that.
I don't understand it. Like, why is it 4-player?
Oh hey guys. God, is it 4-player?
Hey guys, we split said Monkey Head Boxing, guys.
Oh no! Why would you ever boot up Banana Blitz HD for party games when Wii Sports is right there?
I don't know.
Why would you ever boot up Banana Blitz?
They would probably just start thinking that the fact that a lot of people played Monkey Ball just for the party games, they're like, oh, let's just focus on that. Except we're not going to focus on that.
Why would you play Banana Blitz when a Wii can play Monkey Ball 1 and 2?
That's true.
Like, there's
but
no
yeah,
reason.
I think that's the thing. They were like, oh, Monkey Ball is about party games, so let's look at what every other... Well, I think they just fell into the trap that every early developer for the Wii did, which is like, oh, we gotta use the motion controls as much as possible.
Oh, the Wii's a casual game. Let's make a party game.
Yeah, they were like casual party games. It's like we can do that. As a matter of fact, let's make 50 of them.
We can try just as less as everybody else did.
How hard could it possibly be?
But the problem is that they focused more on making it into this motion control
grand
demo
package
than making it into a Monkey Ball game.
Making it a fun game.
Exactly. Yeah.
So based on what I've played from Steppenwolf, they did definitely take more. They did definitely take a chunk from Banana Blitz for sure. I can't really say if they improved it though, because I haven't played the mini games that much. They definitely have. At least some of them used. I actually don't know, honestly.
Never played it, so I can't really speak. I never played the mini games, I should say. So
same here.
Can't speak on anything really. Sure, it's Banana Blitz-ish.
So Monkey Target is better than Banana Blitz, but it's still like a far cry from Monkey Ball 2.
I'm looking at it now, and I gotta say that Flying Through Rings is giving me strong Superman 64 vibes, which I say is very fitting for this game, considering they're both bad.
It's slightly better than Banana Blitz as far as like you actually do more before you land on the target, but it's still the kind of the same problem. But just like it's just worse, which is
like a half-hearted attempt at fixing it.
And then there's a race, which is fine. It's Monkey Race. Like I can't make a complaint about it. It controls fine.
And they still use the cannon. Why? The most satisfying part was like going down that big ramp and then jumping off, and they're just like, "Yeah, we're just gonna take that part out and just,
I don't know why they got rid of it. Was it too hard?
Like, casual gamers don't understand how movement works. Sorry.
It's so. I guess that's my only thought process. Is they were like, "Oh no, the
people gonna press A to
50-year-old grandma's playing this game won't understand how to press the A button."
What is the physics?
They could have literally just put up an A button prompt. It would have been fine.
Been fine, but it's too hard. They had to program that. They can't program an A button prompt. They had 2 days to make this whole game.
They can barely program rings.
I guess that leaves 3D, which I actually played 3D, and I can say the mini games were probably the best part of that game, but they weren't even like amazing. It was just they were good. They were good. I actually didn't hate them when I played it.
I know very little about like 3D's minigames, but I do know that they advertised like the car racing minigame like more than the game itself.
That is Monkey Race.
Yeah, that's Monkey Race?
They turned it into a racing game, which I guess is, it's not like the worst move.
It's not an inaccurate
that's the worst move ever.
It's a very confusing move from Super Monkey Ball, but
Do you know what I think is even more confusing is the fact that Monkey Fight is not Monkey Fight and is instead Super Smash Brothers.
You know what?
That was weird. I didn't think it was.
You know what? I honestly, I think it was probably a better move than just making Monkey Fight again.
True, they'd been trotting out the same Monkey Fight for like
Monkey
how
Fight's
many
pretty
years?
much been the same. Like they need to innovate somewhere.
I
yeah.
mean, innovating. That's just doing a different minigame.
I mean, it looks better than normal Monkey Fight, so
Yeah,
I can't wait to say it's a bad move. I haven't played it though, so I can't comment. So I cannot comment on the quality. Jeff, you have anything to say about Monkey Fight since none of us have played it?
I didn't think it was bad, actually. It was different, but I personally think the minigames were probably the highlight of 3D, although they weren't, exceptional, but they felt to me like the minigames in that game were closer to anything else got to 1 and 2. So I genuinely thought they were all fine, and it was a good attempt.
Yeah, Monkey Race just seems like a generic cut right there, which is kind of
Yeah,
a shame.
it's not like blowing your mind quality, but they reminded me the most of 1 and 2, and plus it was on a 3DS, so I expect them, not being perfect. I thought the minigames in 3D were fine, personally.
I do appreciate that they tried to do something different instead of just ruining the original games again.
So just butchering everything,
Yeah, they were like, okay, let's do something new because we've already screwed up what worked.
There is something odd about Monkey Ball's reboot, which just seems like they kind of have no idea what they're doing.
Oh, completely.
I don't know.
Like it.
Just seems odd. I don't know. Like, you think you buy Step and would have had some idea, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's like they completely didn't understand. One, they didn't understand the appeal of the franchise, and after they didn't understand the appeal of the franchise, they just kept going. So they were like, we got to go
And they
back
just kept
to
not
the roots.
understanding.
Like Steppenwolf's main game, I felt like they got it, except for the level design, which is like the thing that's the most important.
It's so, I don't know. I would really love to know what was going through the minds of the people who were like in charge of the Monkey Ball franchise from Banana
It's
Blitz
it's
onward.
probably just like in like cartoons, it's like a monkey with like symbols just clapping. You know what I mean? That's probably what's going on in their heads.
The coders are just monkeys at typewriters.
Yeah.
Monkey goes eat. Very odd.
And Banana Splits, I'm not
Does
sure.
Does
I know
not
nothing about
have
it. I've never
any.
even seen a screenshot.
The only minigame I know about in that game is a Love Maze, and I don't even know if that counts as a game. Because it's like,
No one
Okay, so
talks
it
about
doesn't-
that game, but it's like good, but no one talks about it.
it's unfortunate that Tay couldn't
Because it
join.
was on the Vita.
It's on
Gotcha.
a dying platform. Yo, what about the
This kinda
Super
sucks.
Monkey Ball bounce mini games though? Am I right, guys? All right,
Yeah,
fellas?
You mean Peggle?
Yeah, guys. Super Monkey Ball Bounce really recaptures the feel. It really goes back to the roots.
Oh, for sure.
Back to the roots of Peggle. Is it even like a good Peggle clone? I don't even know.
No, I played it. It was bad.
I had it for like a week, like back in like 2015, so I literally have no idea.
I got it like the week it came out, and I was like, I don't think I've ever been more disappointed by something besides Sticker Star. But I think it was a mobile game, so that's probably why I didn't care as much.
Too bad you didn't know what was waiting after Bounce. As in,
I was okay.
the 7 year
I was
gap.
okay with it. There's not going to be anything good. I'd rather just not have anything. So, but that's
Forget
besides
that
the
bounce is the
point.
last new game that's came out technically to this day.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
No,
technically
that's the
true.
sad part. I
So
wish
now
I
we
was
have
wrong.
Banana Blitz HD.
I mean, BBHD technically, a completely new game. Bounce is the last one, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
I
BBSD,
mean, not for
did
long,
that
but
just
we'll see.
have Target? Well, no, yeah, I think it just had Target.
I think it just had Target. It didn't have race.
I definitely feel like Banana Blitz HD, I feel like could have taken better minigames. I just feel like they saw like the amount of time they had, and they just kind of like pulled like ones that they thought would be fun within. They're like, oh, these might be fun, so we're just gonna pick these random ones. See how they work.
Yeah. And the problem is that Target, like, if you're porting over Monkey Ball minigames, Target's an obvious choice, but they
They probably
just-
didn't. The problem is you can't fix that. Like it's using Wii remote controls, so you have to like completely reprogram the controls for the
Yeah. There's no way to get that version of Target even remotely close to any of the good versions of Target because one, first of all, the levels are completely simplistic. The mechanics are completely simplistic, and the physics are just wrong. And they feel even more wrong when you're using an analog.
Yeah, they really didn't have time to like completely work it. So it ends up happening that it ends up being worse than the original, just because it's like kind of jank to do motion controls on a joystick.
Exactly, and it's really depressing to play.
It was kind of doomed from the start. It's just kind of like, oh.
Yeah,
it was really bad. The mini games in that game, like I had to play them all for my review I did recently, and it.
Slingshot was very odd when I first played it
so bad.
because I thought Slingshot was broken. It turns out I had to hold back then press X. I'm like, that's weird.
It's all weird workarounds, and none of them really work, to be honest.
I thought it was like a flick the joystick game. It wasn't. It was like, oh.
It's interesting witnessing the fall because Monkey Ball 1 and Banana Blitz HD, I actually do have some level of enjoyment out of the minigames in both of those two games. It's just that with Monkey Ball 1, they're legitimately fun, but with Banana Blitz HD, like playing those minigames with friends, we're just laughing at like how dumb they are. Because we were playing I think the hammer toss minigame, and we're just like,
oh god,
how do you do this? And we're just occasionally we'd manage to throw it like really far, and it's just like what? And it's just funny.
I think the most fun I've had with the minigame so far was getting the achievement for the whack-a-mole. Like, that was actually fun.
The downfall of the minigames is definitely like the saddest thing, because if you look back all the way back to like Monkey Ball 1, it feels like part of the core game, like I said, and then you go to like Banana Blitz HD, and it just feels like cheap Mario Party minigames is tacked on to the end. It's like, oh, we'll just shove that in there. Maybe someone click on it.
Banana Blitz HD is
obviously,
like the minigames
obviously
didn't work
the main game's
2006.
Obviously the main game's not as near as good as the originals, but the main game, you can tell there's effort put into it and you can get some fun out of it. But you look at like the mini games in the first few games and it feels like they legitimately put a lot of time and effort into them, and then in Banana Blitz HD they're completely like 100% like they had like 1 day left and they're like, oh shit.
Because like, originally like you could make the argument that the main game and the mini games are like equal to each other in terms of like, you could say it's a party game with like a story mode attached, or like the other way around. But like here, it's no contest.
Oh, exactly.
Like Vanilla HD is like main game's like okay, and then there's like mini game.
Yeah, do you guys have any like final thoughts? I feel like we should.
That was my final thought.
I mean, 1 and 2 obviously have the best selection. Although I would say most of the portable games actually do a pretty respectable job. And Adventure is a bit of a mixed bag. But I mean, pretty much every main series console title, other than the first 2 games and Halfway Adventure, has a pretty poor showing, to say the least.
After Adventure is like the point of no return.
Yeah, Banana Blitz really ruined it and it never recovered.
It is bizarre that Touch Null is like the only game after the original ever that like was actually good. Like there was some level of like effort.
That's true. There's a lot of strangely like competence to it.
I'm suspicious whether or not the Musivision had their hands in that before they dissolved, honestly, considering how it is.
Yeah, I'd actually be curious to look at
because like the DS came out in like
that game.
The DS came out in like 2004 and they died in 2005, so there is some chance, maybe very vague chance.
I'm pretty sure Nagoshi directly worked on that game, but I'm not sure about the rest of the stuff. It actually looks like he didn't, which is interesting.
It's odd. Something, I don't know who worked on that one, but they should have had more you know.
I'll have to look into some of the people who worked on it more, because I'm curious how that came together.
It's definitely odd that Touch Null's like normal, but the rest of them were kind of like a complete disaster.
Yeah, Touch and Roll's like very much just like...
It's like a very competent game. It's like, wow, it's actually had effort put behind it.
It does recycle a lot from the first 2, but it has its own kind of flair to it, and it feels like... oh yeah, it's just a little side game to like a fun franchise that's gonna have like a good big installment coming up next, and then the next big installment was Banana Blitz.
Banana Blitz. or
That's
adventure.
so depressing to me.
Oh, it's just horrendous.
It's almost sad. But as far as minigames go, very mixed.
Yeah,
Very peculiar.
this is yet another area where you want to stick with the
Stick to
GameCube.
portable games if you want to play anything
Actually,
outside
yeah.
of 1 and 2. Like
Yeah,
Touch
if
and
you-
Roll, Touch and Roll's minigame offering is very good. So stick to that, I guess.
that's which is interesting because if you want Monkey Ball on the go, like Banana Blitz HD, not a bad option. If you want Monkey Ball party games on the go, please, dear God, Junior or Touch and Roll.
Monkey Wars is a classic. Don't at me. That's probably my most played Touch and Roll minigame. That game is so good.
So funny that you can just say, "Oh yeah, if you're gonna play the minigames, play this Game Boy game from 2001 rather than the one that just came out a few months ago."
2002.
It's so
Yeah.
sad because Monkey Ball Junior only has like 3, and Banana Blitz
They're all
HD has
better
like
than
10.
Blitz HD.
Junior has
Yeah, and
competition mode.
those
so
3 mini games are all like infinitely more fun than any of the 10 in Banana Blitz HD combined.
I definitely need to buy a second Junior copy because it actually has competition mode. Believe it or not.
Oh my god, it does. I forgot about that. So
I
if you
need-
want
I
to play
need-
multiplayer.
That's actually high. I need to play it. I need to buy a second copy because I think Junior's like the cheapest one out of this entire series.
Junior does not go for a lot. I would not be surprised if it's the cheapest one.
I do want to try out competition mode because it actually looks cool if it runs well.
Yeah, if that works well, then honestly, more props to the developers because even ambition. But yeah.
They want it a bit crazy.
Yeah.
But
Anything else to say?
Super Monkey Ball 3 Banana Crazy.
This is the game. This is Monkey Ball 3.
This is the
podcast.
game. This is a compilation of every story mode cutscene.
Monkey Ball 3 is actually being developed right now in secret.
No, it came out in
So-
2005. It was called Yakuza.
Oh god.
It was. It was.
rolled out as kind of just Monkey Ball 3, TBH.
I mean, yeah.
Honestly, we gotta if we're declaring anything Monkey Ball 3, that probably has the most right.
Yeah.
So next time we talk about our plans for the movie, right, guys? Super Monkey Ball
Ooh,
movie.
Is that what we're doing?
Teased in
that
podcast
sounds
too.
like a good idea to me.
I'd be down to do that. That'd be fun. Let's do it.
Sure.
Hello, it is I come from a bad neighborhood.